After interviewing doctors and specialists, I found a whole food plant-based diet could reverse many chronic diseases that we usually manage with medication. Dr. Negron says she's not opposed to medication. That, she says, would be irresponsible. She's a traditional doctor that prescribes medicine as a temporary vehicle to help correct a problem, but not as a permanent solution, which is why she helps patients learn to change their eating habits.
To know that 80% of our diseases are man-made, to know that 80% of our diseases are associated with our food and lifestyle, and to really not be just clamoring for how do we get rid of that and get on the health path.
Why don't doctors tell you this?
Because we don't learn it in medical school.
When I was in medical school, I did not learn this. Physicians who are in practice now for 10, 20, 30 years did not get this in medical school. And the young physicians are getting very little, if they get any at all.
We know that a lot of patients, for instance, they follow whatever their physician tells them. And if their physician is not well informed in nutrition, then they're obviously not gonna have the information that they need to prevent or reverse their disease.
But that is changing. Hundreds of professionals in the health industry, doctors, nurses, as well as personal trainers like Cesar Berrios, and anyone looking to learn more, are taking plant-based nutrition courses like the certificate E. Cornell offers through T. Colin Campbell's Center for Nutrition Studies.
Our certificate is an evidence-based program that explains the science behind nutrition and the development of health and chronic diseases. It also talks about important topics such as protein, macronutrients, exercise, and it connects the dots between diet and the environment sustainability. It empowers communities to take action and individuals to utilize these skills in their everyday living and their profession.
After learning the science behind this lifestyle, I decided to see if it could work for me. Without my doctor's consent, I had stopped taking the immunosuppressants and steroids because of the side effects they gave me, something I now know I shouldn't have done. So I had flares all the time. I had nothing to lose, so I went for it. I stopped consuming animal protein, and 2 weeks later, a routine blood test confirmed my triglycerides had dropped from 239 to 138, something I never thought possible because I was told it was hereditary. 5 months later, my new rheumatologist ordered blood tests which indicated that the inflammation in my body had dropped to normal levels for the first time in years, and the blood that had been appearing in my urine samples for 6 years had disappeared. My joint pains were gone, and instead of debilitating fatigue, I had energy again, and I started losing weight.
Animal protein, animal foods do promote inflammation. We have definitely seen a link between animal-based foods and these conditions. So when you remove these products from your diet and you introduce the healing power of a whole food plant-based nutrition, you get results like yours.
Seeing that it was working, I added other components of lifestyle medicine. I learned to manage stress using tools like meditation that I do daily and sometimes with my family. I started doing moderate exercise at least 5 times a week and learned to sleep again since I didn't have aches and pains waking me up at night. So it's been a year since I started this journey. Last year, I had a wellness check 2 weeks after I stopped eating animal protein, animal products, and my triglycerides had gone down. So this year, my new wellness check has come, and I want to see what my numbers look like. That test showed my cholesterol levels had plummeted into the normal range for the first time in years. I'm truly in awe of how far I've come in just a year. Under the supervision of my new rheumatologist who knows more about nutrition, I haven't had another flare and no longer take medication. I've never smoked or consumed alcohol, which also contribute to chronic diseases, so I didn't have to worry about that. Without pills masking my symptoms, I can now tell when my body needs to rest and when a certain food doesn't sit right. I think I finally learned to listen to my body and give it food that nourishes it instead of causing inflammation. With this new lifestyle, I'm doing things that I was told I could never do again, like signing up for a half marathon with my husband. A couple of years ago, the inflammation in my joints was causing me so much pain that I could barely walk a few blocks, and now I'm running.
She gets her colonoscopy every year.
I couldn't help but think of Dr. Sarai Stancic, who was initially offended when someone suggested she run a marathon, but then found the strength.
I realized that I was living my life first and foremost as this woman with MS, this doctor with MS, this mother with MS. I was MS, the poster child. And with that label came so many limitations, things I could do and things I couldn't. And I realized I needed to drop that.
I thought of her as I ran the 13 miles, how she got up every morning and exercised to stay mobile, how she ate anti-inflammatory foods to prevent flares, and went to bed early to give her body the chance to regenerate.
You know, I was given this blessing to recover from my disease. So now it's my responsibility to assure that I share this message. We know that by implementing these very small, simple changes in our lives, we can prevent so much disease, so much pain and suffering. And my hope for each and every one of us is that we age gracefully, free of these chronic diseases.
I thought of my dad that says he got his life back this way 3 years before I was born. Así que si no fuera por el hogar naturista,
no estabas aquí. No eran salvados.
Always finding ways to share his wisdom with his sense of humor.
Que si quieres ser fuerte como un toro, no comas toro. Come lo que come el toro.
I also thought of Cesar Berrios, who refused to become a victim of his illness.
If you know how the nutrition affect your life and what you eat affect your future, you're gonna change. There's no way if you have the knowledge, you need to change.
And the advice he gave me.
If you make the change now, in the future, you're gonna be healthy. That's the main purpose of my life right now. Telling people you don't have to be sick to change your diet.
With those words of encouragement and the support of my family and friends, I made it to the finish line. And not just of the half marathon. I got my life back, and now I know that even if I am genetically predisposed to certain diseases, I have a better chance of living a long, healthy life if I continue healing through food.